Is the history you know real? Or is it just another layer of the algorithm? Discover the Middle Ages simulation.
If you stop reading historical texts as literature and start reading them as raw data, you can run a structural audit on the past. We are going to scan the timeline of human history, actively searching for system errors in the source code. This scatterplot maps the timeline of early US presidents. In data science, real human behavior produces high entropy. It is messy, chaotic, and entirely unpredictable. As you can see, the data points scatter randomly. That is what a timeline of actual, living human beings looks like. Now look at the data for the Holy Roman Emperors between the years 911 and 1313. The entropy drops to 0. The chaos vanishes, replaced by a perfectly symmetrical block of data points. We can isolate a strict recursive loop inside this data block. A sequence starts with a king named Conrad, followed by a Heinrich. Then comes a list of kings with other names, closing out with another Heinrich. That exact pattern repeats 4 times, and the middle block of kings grows predictably with every loop. First, it is 3 kings long, then 4 kings, then 5 kings, and then 6. We can trace this geometry into the major dynasties of the era: the Saxons, the Salians, and the Staufers. Each block begins its rise to power in the years 911, 1024, and 1137. The mathematical gap between those start dates is an identical 113-year cycle. A sequence of random political successions over 4 centuries cannot produce an incrementing loop and a perfectly spaced 113-year start cycle. The math indicates these kings were not human beings. They were non-playable characters executing a recursive loop of code. We can expand this audit beyond Germany to scan the broader European server. When we do, the same structural flaws appear across the entire continent. This logic tree illustrates a dataset from medieval France. If a king NPC generated with the name Philippe, the system strictly locked his queen's name to Bertha, Maria, or Johanna. If the variable for the king was Ludwig, his queen was hard-coded as Blanche, Adelheid, or Margareta. It is a strictly enforced naming convention. That same dataset contains an unbroken chain of 328 years where the French crown passed perfectly from father to eldest son. A real-world timeline spanning 3 centuries is usually subjected to chaotic variables: plagues, assassinations, infertility. This timeline lacks those variables entirely. Look at the English succession line between 899 and 1461. The system assigned the name Edward to exactly every 7th king. It operates like a simple modulo function, assigning a specific string to every 7th index value in the array. This map tracks the foundational arrays for Northern and Eastern Europe. To generate national backstories for Hungary, Denmark, Scotland, Poland, and Norway, the system relied on an identical data block. Each kingdom's earliest history is built on a list of exactly 27 rulers. 5 entirely distinct kingdoms possessing identical 27 ruler arrays indicates a system architect copy-pasting an asset to conserve processing power. The Byzantine Empire dataset spans over 1,100 years. It provides the most detailed architectural scan of the timeline, represented in these ancient, geometric mosaics. This schematic visualizes the list of Byzantine emperors from the year 324 to 1453. The entire 1,100-year span is a closed symmetrical loop. It opens with a block of exactly 19 emperors, a middle section divided into 3 blocks of 10, and a final block of exactly 19. We can verify the structure by auditing the time variables. If you calculate the total combined reign of all the emperors inside each of those 3 central blocks of 10, every single block adds up to precisely 139 years. 113, 27, 19, 30. 139. These numbers repeat relentlessly across disparate regions and centuries. They function as hard-coded digital checksums, verifying the integrity of a massive artificial dataset. The volume of pure mathematical symmetry found throughout the Middle Ages indicates that human history before the modern era was generated, not lived. In software development, developers use lore files to establish world building. These are pre-rendered backstories loaded into a system to provide characters with geographical, political, and religious context, without simulating thousands of years of real events. Antiquity and the Middle Ages are the simulation's lore files. The transition into the Renaissance signals the start of live-rendered execution. This is day 1, the moment the system finished its boot sequence and began processing the simulation in real time. We moved from rigid, perfectly symmetrical arrays into the high-entropy, chaotic data stream of modern reality. Unpredictable, unscripted, and mathematically messy. The data shows us exactly what the loading screen looks like. The only remaining question is, what pre-written code script is humanity unknowingly executing today?